Big news in the race for Congress. 4th District Congressman Jim Himes is getting a Republican challenger, and this time it's someone with political experience. Joining us now is the former candidate for Lieutenant Governor in 2018 and a former First Selectman of Darien, Jamie Stevenson. Selectman Stevenson, great to see you here on the program.
Thank you for having me, Dennis.
So what made you decide to run for Congress?
America is in peril. Everywhere we look, we have chaos around us. Chaos at our borders, unsafe streets, kids that are falling further and further behind in school, exacerbated by COVID policies that really had consequences that no one could understand. And it's time that we send leaders to Washington that are sane and serious and can rise to the moment of these great challenges for our country and for the 4th Congressional District.
You have to go door to door all around the 4th District asking people basically to fire their Congressman Jim Himes. What's the argument that he should be replaced?
Jim has been in Washington for 14 years, and our lives are getting worse rather than getting better. He is in lockstep with the Biden administration on every one of their policies, and the lives of families and businesses are worse off today than they were when he went to Congress. That's why I'm running.
The Republican Party says that Connecticut is ripe for a GOP takeover. They say that voters are getting sick of Democratic rule. I know you agree with that, but why?
It's unbalanced. Our nation was founded on the principles of bringing balanced ideas to policy making. Here in Connecticut and in Washington, we don't have that balance anymore.
In 2018, you crisscrossed the state as a candidate for Lieutenant Governor. You went to all of the towns out there. Is Connecticut in worse shape today than it was 4 years ago?
Connecticut is in worse shape if you pull off the veil of the federal bailout money. People talk about the windfalls that we have now in the state budget, but if you strip away that free money that came from the federal government, our pensions are still in a very precarious position. Our infrastructure is crumbling, and we really need serious leaders in Washington that are going to take the problems of Connecticut and help come up with those solutions.
Someone's going to say to you, well, what are you going to do for me? What are you going to bring home to my town? What's your answer?
First and foremost, the thing that I'm looking forward to addressing is the economic precarious position that we're in right now. Inflation running at 7.5%. Anybody that enjoyed a wage increase over the last couple of years, that's been wiped out by unchecked inflation, and they're having trouble putting food on the table.
As you can expect, if the polls show a tight race between you and Congressman Himes, Senator Murphy, Senator Blumenthal, Ned Lamont, they'll all be coming down to campaign against you. Are you ready to take on the entire party?
100%.
Jamie Stevenson, candidate for the 4th District for Congress. We thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you in a debate.
Thank you.
Mrs. Stevenson will face a primary challenger in August. Robert Goldstein is a doctor running on a platform to reform health care. We have reached out to him to appear on a future broadcast. Moving on now to the U.S. Senate race. Incumbent Richard Blumenthal hasn't officially announced he's running for re-election yet, but Republicans are lining up to run against him on the primary ticket. Former Minority Leader Themis Claridis, businessman Peter Lumage, litigator John Flynn, landscaper Robert Hyde. And there is a 5th candidate, and she's joining us now, Republican National Committee member Leora Levy. Mrs. Levy, thanks so much for being with us here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So why do you want to make the jump and run for U.S. Senate?
I have been very blessed in my life. I was born in Havana, Cuba. I escaped communism with my family in 1960. The way my mother and her parents got to Cuba was that they escaped the Holocaust. They escaped Lithuania in 1940 and were not able to get into the United States. They were turned away because of the quota for Jews imposed by the Roosevelt administration, but they were able to get into Cuba. And it is really a blessing that I'm here at all. I have always felt a calling to give back and to serve my country. I was nominated by President Trump to be an ambassador to Chile, representing my country abroad. I was very anxious to fulfill that nomination. It didn't work out because of the toxic environment in the Senate right now.
So you want to join this toxic group, as you call it. What would make you a good senator? What would make you the senator from Connecticut that people would want to have in office for them?
I am a principled Republican. I firmly believe that our principles of opportunity for all, personal responsibility, and freedom and liberty for all are the best solutions for every American in this country, as well as for the country as a whole.
Mrs. Levy, some Democrats and some independents will say that Richard Blumenthal has served this state well. What's your response to that?
My response is that Richard Blumenthal is a rubber stamp for all of these policies that the Biden administration has imposed on our country that have damaged us tremendously.
I want to talk a little bit about former President Donald Trump, because there are some Republicans who want nothing to do with him, and there are some Republicans who believe that he should stay out of politics and not run again in 2024. First of all, would you want him to come to Connecticut to campaign for you? And do you believe he should run for president again in 2024?
You know, that is really up to him. I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for myself.
Would you invite him to come campaign for you?
I will welcome support from wherever it comes, and should he decide that this is a race that he can support, I would welcome his support.
Leora Levy, she is a Republican candidate for U.S. Senate. We thank you so much, Mrs. Levy, for being with us here today, and we'll see you in the debates.
Thank you. I look forward to the debates. I look forward to the race.
For the very latest on all things politics, stay tuned for Capitol Report at 10:30 with Tom Dudzik. He'll be joined by former State Senator John McKinney and former gubernatorial advisor Rory Occhiogrosso. We're honoring Women's History Month, plus a popular holiday treat was conceived right here in Connecticut, in a local police department, trying to connect to the community through music. And we would like you to connect with us. We always love getting your emails and your social media comments. You can find me right there.